Well, our next topic, even though we don't have a review for it today, is the confirmation that The Boys season 5 will be the ending to The Boys show. We had gotten some comments recently from Eric Kripke, I think is his name, that he might have been wrong about it ending in the 5 seasons because of the success of the show. But no, yeah, they wanted to announce this to kind of, by the end of season 4, really like gear you up for the final season, because that's what it's pointing towards from what they're saying by the finale. So yeah, I think all in all, that's great news. I was a little worried that we would not get a planned ending anymore, and I think shows that don't have one almost all of the time fall off because they're just putting out seasons because it's popular,
right?
And I think the confirmation that they're also planning to develop more spinoffs after The Boys ends, I think that's another good idea, because people still want this universe, but you're concluding an arc that people want to see concluded.
Yeah.
So all in all, I think this is great news.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, when I was saying like, well, maybe we'll do season 6, like who knows? I was a little worried, like you were kind of saying, because it feels like we are logically, I've only seen episode 1 of season 4, but it feels like with the arcs and the trajectories that have been set in place for 2 of our main characters, who are kind of the focal points.
Yeah,
there's only so much that you can go, like, that we're getting to a head, and it's gotta end somehow.
And I think if you keep artificially like lengthening out this conflict, people aren't going to care anymore.
Yes.
Because it has to end. You can't just be like, well, both these guys are still alive because they can't kill each other and Ryan exists. I don't know. It's just, you got to clean it up at some point.
Yeah. I think I would be, unless it was done fantastically well, I think I would be fairly upset if we were going into like season 6, season 7, season 8, and it's like,
and Homelander was still the main threat.
Where are we build, like, because right now, like, we're at a pretty juicy, interesting point.
And especially in this universe, right.
And as much as it would make me, it would bum me out, to see it end, I would rather it end and end in a satisfying way than to have it just continuously go on with no like, with just the sake of it being popular.
Right.
So I think this is great. I think also the people, for the most part, are interested in more of this world. I know maybe not a lot of people saw Diabolical. I know I didn't. But I think that the general consensus with Gen V was like, it was done really well. It had interesting commentary. It was its own kind of show, but we still got all the boy-isms that made it exciting and crazy. And like, as much as somebody like Homelander and Billy Butcher are going to be like missed in the world of that universe, there's still plenty of characters to make that, to be made, or to keep that world like interesting.
And they've proven that they can write a bunch of new characters that are really well written. I mean, Gen V was almost entirely new characters, and I didn't hate one of them, to be honest. I
would hope that you would hate some of them.
Sure, but I guess I'm saying,
I know.
Like as they're written, I think they're all well written characters.
Yes.
And I don't know. I think even if Gen V becomes the main show that everyone's watching for this universe, I think that has a ton of potential to keep going, because those characters are all very interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I could easily see Gen V being like the new flagship sort of show after this, or. Like, I think that whole world is so rich to, like, The Boys started off as not only a satire of the superhero genre, but like a satire of just the world as we know it, and Gen V was kind of like a satire of like a college,
college movies, college life.
God, there was this one show in the early 2000s, or not the early 2000s, but like the late 2000s on ABC that it reminds me of, but I can't remember it. Like we have a satire of that, we have a satire of like what's going on, or commentary, and still have some like superheroes satire going on that's like breaking it down. I think you could easily do that for another type of show in the future. I would love to see a Frenchie show or a Kimiko show, or I don't really want to see a whole show devoted to Soldier Boy, but
yeah, he's a bit of a piece of shit. You don't really necessarily need to follow him, but I love Soldier Boy.
Or like going back in time and getting like the team that Mallory worked with potentially, like
a prequel, show. That could be fun.
There's lots of different places to go, and I'm glad that it's going to come to a close, because it really feels like there's not much.
There's not right. There's not much more to tell.
Unless by some miracle, which could potentially piss off a lot of people because it's been such a focal plot point with Butcher in particular. Unless there was something that was written amazingly well that we're like, all right, we can keep this going, I would be a little pissed. And it also seems like Homelander wise, he's getting increasingly frustrated with certain parts of himself and the world. And that it needs to increase, and it needs to get to an apex. It can't just
because
be prolonged.
You're seeing him grow more and more insane by like the more crap happening to, like Stormfront dying and kind of losing his love of his life was, I think, deeply traumatic for him. And then, having his father call him, a disappointment, I think was incredibly traumatic. And I think he's just growing more and more insane.
Product.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know. I think you can only go so insane before you pop. But like, because imagine like we're watching like seasons, like 2 more seasons of him just fuming and like not really increasing, how that would be frustrating. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So, and all the best shows end in like 4 to 6 seasons. So, I think this could go down as one of like the best shows out there if it ends in a super satisfying way. But I think, like I said, this is great news.
How many seasons was the Sopranos?
6 seasons.
All right, well, there you go.
Sopranos is great. Wire ended in 5 seasons. Mr. Robot ended in 4 seasons.
I would say Mad Men, though, kind of breaks that mold.
Mad Men 9 seasons. You're right. Yeah.
Mad Men's pretty great.
Yeah, just classics out there.
Well, I would say Dexter, but
Dexter's 9, right?
Might be less than that. Could be 9. I don't know, but
yeah, it's like I said, great news.